dodge bullets, baby.
This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable.
There it is. Doyle's done it.
He skates steps into poker history.
This is the greatest sport in the world.
Yes! Man! Boom! Let the games begin.
From 4 grueling day 1 sessions, they survived.
Yes! Day 2, baby! Let's get them!
From a pair of day 2 marathons, they advanced.
World Series, baby! Yes!
Now they are here.
Turbulence is coming.
They are all here. It's day 3, and with the field now united, it means our next main event champion is in the building. Amongst the players still in the hunt are some of the biggest names in the game.
Never easy, man.
Including one man who's the clear favorite to become Player of the Year.
It'd be nice to be Poker Player of the Year. Everyone just looks and they say, I don't want to mess with that guy.
It's one field, one goal, and for Jeff Lissandro, one more step to the greatest season in World Series history.
I'm the guy you're trying to knock out here. It's not going to happen.
The main event will be the final judge.
Day 3.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lon McCarran with Norm and Chad. Welcome to the 40th Annual World Series of Poker main event presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky.
This is my ace of spades.
It's day 3, meaning every remaining player is here at the Rio, ready to compete for the main event title, and of course, $8.5 million in top prize money.
I'm in a pretty good mood.
While new faces continue to emerge, it's the stars of poker who are truly shining, including Phil Ivey, whose chip stack is making folks a little nervous.
Actually, it's the player I'm a little more worried about than the stack.
Over at table 2, we find bracelet winner Kenny Tran, along with Billy Walbeck. Walbeck is one of only 2 players still in the running for Player of the Year, but for Billy to claim the honor, he will have to surpass perhaps the season's best player, Jeff Lissandro.
Lissandro, 43 years old, may be the best player ever out of Australia, and he's joined at the feature table by another 43-year-old Aussie with bragging rights, 05 champ Joe Asher.
Deal me in, please.
Yeah, you do.
Hey, Joe.
Sir? Hey, mate, how are you? You good? All right, I'm glad there's room for one.
There's always room for a world champion at the World Series of Poker. The blinds will start at 600 and 1,200 to 200 chip ante from each player. On the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam, Lissandro with pocket 8s.
Lissandro just the 5th man to win 3 bracelets in a World Series. Puggy Pearson did it in 1973, Phil Hellmuth and Ted Forrest in 93, and Phil Ivey in 2002.
Lissandro with a raise to 3,600 over to Hashem with pocket queens, a re-raise to 9,600.
Hashem born in Lebanon, and his family moved to Australia when he was 6. Lissandro born in Australia, now lives in Salerno, Italy, and Las Vegas.
2 big names in the game going at it early here on day 3. Queens against 8s. The flop is 10-4 deuce. Their whole cards tell the story. Hashem still ahead. Lissandro checks.
16.
16,000 from Joe.
And with that bet, Hashem telling Lissandro, you may have the hat, the shades, the shirt, and the chewing gum. I've got the hand.
Lissandro.
Boy, Jeff almost stopped chewing there.
He did, yeah. So Lissandro folds, and Hashem with the queens will take that pot and shows his hand.
For you, sir.
Jeff, known as the Iceman, will ship a few chips across the table.
That better not start up again.
I love you guys. Keep it up.
2 top pros at this featured table with an early skirmish. Hashem wins that round, but Lissandro does not back down from anyone and is sure to be in the mix all day long. After all the excitement of the multiple day 1 and 2s, in some regards, the main event actually starts today. For the first time, the entire field is together, meaning that our next main event champ is indeed out there. So, Norman, who will it be?
Okay, let's assume aliens come down and lure Phil Ivey away to a big cash game in the mothership. Well, then I must turn to Jeffy Lissandro. I'm a big believer in running good, and at the moment, Lissandro is running better than Usain Bolt. He's got 3 bracelets this year. Sure, nobody's ever won 4 in a single World Series, but don't count out the man in the black hat.
That is what he calls his work hat. Jeff says wearing it puts him in the zone.
You've got the Australians running this table.
A visit from pro Jean Robert Ballon.
To be, man.
Jeff.
Jean Robert and Jeff know each other very well.
See it. Powerful, too, huh?
How you going, good? Are you still in?
I am still in.
Good man. Good luck. Good luck, man.
Ballon says he's a Lissandro protege, but Jeff really doesn't claim Jean Robert to be one of his own, sort of keeps him at a distance, as we all do.
As mentioned, Lisandro almost has Player of the Year locked up, but the one man who could steal it is at table 2, Billy Walbeck. He would need a 7th-place finish in the main event to win if Lisandro does not cash. We'll keep it here at table 2. Walbeck looks down at a 10 and a jack.
Walbeck says he's thinking about quitting playing poker professionally because he's exhausted by it.
He's been at enough final tables this year to be exhausted by it. A raise to 3,800 now on Kenny Tran, single bracelet winner with ace-7 of clubs.
Kenny says business is bad, but family is good.
And he makes the call. The flop now, 9-8 deuce. Kenny Tran's ace-high is still best. Walbeck with an up and down straight draw. Checks. Kenny with 5,500.
Tran bets exactly half the pot.
Walbeck struggling on a short stack, pushes it all in.
This is the time for the first double.
Walbeck bets exactly all of his chips, and he's picked a good time to move all in on a draw. Kenny Tran does not have a hand.
Kenny regards his opponent and folds his weak ace.
Nice hand.
Walbeck pushed in with about 25 big blinds left.
So Walbeck's still in the running.
He just saw it in my eyes. It was nice.
You robbed me again. It's okay.
No, I didn't rob.
Okay.
Yeah, you were robbed, Kenny.
Rough friend all the time.
All right, let's take a look at our PokerStars.net chip count of some notable pros. Phil Ivey with 346,000 is 17th overall. The chip leader at the start of the day, Amir Lehavat with over 600,000, a former high-tech guy, now a poker pro. There's the biggest stack in the room.
He once won the Texas Junior Chess Championship, but really, who plays chess in Texas? Come on.
He was born in Israel and moved to Dallas, Texas when he was 16, now lives in Florida. Anytime Phil Ivey's in the main event, it's cause for concern, but when he's a top stack, well, look out. Phil in a hand right now with Lou Cheffy on the outer tables.
Ivy won bracelets this year in Omaha Stud 8 Mix and Deuce to 7 Draw Lowball.
Ivy puts out 2 orange chips. That's 10,000. That's enough for Cheffy to lay it down. Phil takes another pot.
And Phil takes another pot without saying a word.
I'm not sure he said a word all tournament. From the quiet Phil to the noisy Phil, Phil Hellmuth. He generally likes to greet all the players at his table. Well, looks like he's getting the cold shoulder from Lachlan McKinnon.
I don't respect you, will never shake your hand. That's going to be a friendly neighborhood over there.
Don't respect anything you do.
Don't respect anything.
I think you're a complete.
You don't know me though, right?
Played with you a couple of times. You've been a complete.
McKinnon finished 195th in the 2007 main event.
Fair enough. I'll say this much, I haven't come to an opening table, probably 2,000 people's, everybody's shaking my hand except you. So that might say something about you as well.
Exactly. I have more class than 2,000 people.
Could be a good day.
Not the warmest of welcomes for Hellmuth, but he seems to be taking it well. We saw Jean-Robert Ballon stop by the feature table. Let's check in on his table. Pre-flop, Mike Fan, an amateur from Dallas, raised to 4,500 with ace-king of hearts.
Fan owns a performance car shop.
Action on Ballon.
I'm all in.
And he is going to shove for a little more than 35,000 with ace-10 of diamonds.
Ballon pushes with 20-odd big blinds left, and this should be an automatic call for Mike Fan.
He does call, so Ballon needs help, or he'll be coming by to say goodbye to his featured table friends.
Reality sets in on the former Survivor participant.
Oh, man. Okay. Well, at least this year I go home with the worst hand.
Ballon got it all in with the best of it last year, but took a bad beat to get knocked out of the main event. He picks up a flush draw. Fan leads with a pair of kings.
One time for the kid?
The kid, he's 38.
One time for the kid?
He's 38.
It can happen. It can happen. Even to me, it can happen.
Turn is a 9. That doesn't help.
Oh.
Ballon has to have a diamond.
One time for the kid, please. One time. I said it. One time.
River card now. And he got his one time, hitting the flush to double up.
Did this really happen to me? This is Jean Robert. This doesn't happen for me. This has not happened for me.
It happened.
Man.
He's a survivor.
You didn't get the memo, dealer?
He was a 4-1 dog going to the river.
I'm never on this side of that. Wow.
Anything can happen at the main event, even for Jean Robert.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Welcome back inside the Rio. Jeff Lissandro is the overwhelming favorite to take the 2009 Player of the Year after he tied the record with 3 bracelets in a single World Series.
You got Player of the Year locked up, you, Jeff?
Pretty close. I think there's one guy, if he makes the final table of the main event, or better.
One guy can catch me.
Billy Warbeck, I think.
That would be sick. Get your picture up on the wall.
Just as Hashem did, an honor Jeff Lissandro certainly deserves after a phenomenal World Series.
I really thought I was going to do good this year. Gone from getting in the money, making so many final tables in 1 year, and then I won 1 bracelet. This year, I've decided to try and take it to a different level, and there you go, 3 bracelets. Definitely was in the zone. When you're in the zone, you're throwing in chips with real confidence. You're reading your opponent. Every time you bluff, they fold. Every time you got a big hand, they're calling. Because I was in that zone, I felt the whole table was playing for second. It's quite amazing, yeah. I think there's a little advantage if your opponent fears you a little bit or respects you. I don't want to be that guy and maybe get that little advantage. I'm the man you don't want to mess with.
Since 2004, Jeff has 29 World Series cashes, and he's made 12 final tables. All 4 of his bracelets are in stud or Raz events.
There is the only bracelet left for anyone to win at the World Series, to be awarded November 10th to the No Limit Texas Hold'em World Champion. Hashem with 7-5 of diamonds into the muck. Jeff Lissandro with a suited King 7.
He's the only man I know who consistently wins in a striped shirt.
Raised at 3,600.
It's chilly in here.
Yeah, I know. But this, Klaus Nielsen,
chilly.
10 offsuit.
So cold. You know, he's from Denmark. He's not used to this type of weather.
He makes the call from the big blind for 2,400. So he'll go heads up with Lissandro. The flop is 8-King Trey, a pair of kings for Lissandro.
We always hear players tell us how aggressive Scandinavians are at the poker table. Here it comes.
Nielsen with ace high. That's 5,600. Hoping that flop missed Jeff.
The man who's chilly versus the man nicknamed Iceman.
Oh. Lissandro makes the call with top pair.
With top pair, Jeff says, "What, are you kidding me? I'm going to be Player of the Year, kid."
Turn card is a queen. Lissandro still leads. Nielsen picked up a straight draw.
Nielsen's just freezing to death over there.
He checks. Now Lissandro, still with the best hand. That's 11,000.
I love Jeff's economy of motion when he bets.
Wow, a check raise from Nielsen to 28-6.
I love that check raise. That is aggressive.
Lissandro lays down the best hand.
Nielsen gets Lissandro to lay down top pair. If this fella ever warms up, he could be Player of the Year.
A misread from Lissandro, but I imagine it's tough to read only a blue jacket, a zipper, and sunglasses. But that's what Jeff was facing. All right, let's go back into the field and once again check in on Phil Ivey. When the river came a 4th club, Bo Frick bet 10,000 into Phil. Frick has just top pair, Ivey 2 pair, and the check mark.
Ivey got real lucky on the river, but now he's got to make the call for his good fortune to pay off.
Ivey does make that call. Frick shows top pair, but 2 pair. Jacks up will win it for Ivey.
Phil Ivey wins another pot without saying a word. I like it.
Phil Ivey continues to grow that chip stack. He was top 20 at the start of the day. At another table, you may remember Kent Center. Playing in the World Series was one of his wishes after he learned his body was stricken by an incurable cancer. Kent right now is short stacked. Here on day 3, he has bet 5,000 into one of the best players around, Elke Grospellier. Elke just raised enough to put Kent all in.
Just before the main event, Kent finished 6 rounds of chemotherapy, and he is undergoing stem cell treatment.
Well, it's time. Go on, all in.
Kent says it's time. He makes the call all in. Let's see the cards, guys. Kent Center turns over pocket 10s. Elke pocket jacks.
Kent in an awful spot going to the turn.
Come on, 10.
Turn card now is another trade. No help to Kent.
And now a 10 and a 10 only, or Kent Center's main event is over.
The river card is a 5. Elke wins the hand to knock off Kent Center from the 2009 main event.
All right, good luck.
Sometimes a handshake is just not enough.
You lose, remember, there's always next year.
Take care.
I'm sure some mixed emotions from Elke Grospellier, like any poker player. Glad to win the hand, but sorry to see Kent Center go.
No, it's been unbelievable. You know, I had my dream, I got my shot, and I lasted pretty long. I'm not a big poker player, but all these players will be in my heart forever. That's for sure.
Players come to the main event for many reasons: money, fame, history. But Kent had a different goal, and his wife Patty made it happen. All Kent Center wanted to do was play. Congratulations, Kent. Mission accomplished.
Let's go get the kids.
Now for Straight from the Pros, brought to you by PokerStars.net, where we find out what the pros were thinking while they were playing. Poker can be full of agonizing decisions, especially when your tournament life is at risk and you have to consider folding a made straight. In the 05 main event, Daniel Negreanu had to do just that in a hand against Sammy Farha.
I've got a fun hand, 8-9 suited, and I'm going to see a flop, and it's perfect, 5, 6, 7.
Negreanu flops a straight.
I'm thinking, okay, what's the best way to make the most money? I decide to check. He checks, Sammy now bets. I don't want to spill the beans just yet that I have a really big hand. So I decide to just call, hoping this guy raises. Sammy calls, and then I can get it all in. That's not how it works out. The guy just calls. So I got to worry because there's a flush draw there. And we got Sammy in there who could have anything.
Turn card is a king.
And I decide I'm going to bet out 2,000. 2,000. This guy folds. Now, when Sammy calls me here, I know he's got to have something.
Now the river card, 5 of spades. Farha gets the flush.
I check. Sammy looks over at my chips, and I have a pretty good read on his eyes and his body language and just the way that he plays.
And that's enough to put Daniel all in.
I thought to myself, he's either bluffing here or I'm dead.
Daniel doesn't want to.
The smart move here is to fold.
What a laydown.
You folded the straight?
When you start to think about the kind of hands that Sammy could have there,
Looked like you might have had something. I had this.
it really wasn't that hard of a fold.
Daniel is not one of the 1,800 players still left in the main event here in the Rio Poker Room. He was knocked out on day 1, but Sam Farha is still around. He began this day 3 with almost 68,000 chips, but has lost over half his stack.
Sam still got that look that reminds a lot of people of Humphrey Bogart.
Well, Bogey never played in the main event, but a lot of actors do, including Lou Diamond Phillips, who has made it through here to day 3. He has almost 200,000 chips, and it looks like Phillips has his opponent Brian Bevis on the ropes.
Bevis, a poker pro from Minnesota.
Yes, I am. All right.
And Bevis now gone.
Lou Diamond Phillips, La Bamba, Stand and Deliver, Young Guns. Tony nominated for The King and I, and a pretty good poker player.
Another actor, Jason Alexander, is enjoying a fine run here. With pocket aces, Jason just bet 15,000 into Mark Karam, holding pocket queens.
Karam, a solid pro from Canada. Alexander, a solid actor from America.
Come on.
Karam pushes, and certainly a call from the aces and Alexander.
Yeah, an immediate and proper all-in call from Jason Alexander. These actors are getting good.
Alexander, 2 cards from a double-up through Karam. Jason survived a featured table sitting next to world champ Greg Raymer. Turn card now, another 10.
No queens, Teresa.
Only a queen knocks him out.
It's an 8 on the river. And the aces are good for Jason Alexander.
Hollywood is alive and well in Las Vegas.
Teresa, it is only propriety that keeps me from leaping across this table and kissing you.
All right, let's go back over to table 2, where Kenny Tran has called the pre-flop raise of 21-year-old Lee Gaines. Billy Walbeck also made that call, as did Ron Yeri. Joel Gaines was the original raiser, and he leads right now. 4 players going to the flop. He leads with ace-queen. Flop is 5-5-4. Tran flops a full boat.
Both Tran and Walbeck were playing hidden hands that could pay off if he hit the flop. Well, it hit Tran in a big way.
Joel and Gaines check. Kenny checks as well. Now Walbeck will take a shot at it with a pair of 4s, 8,500.
Walbeck says this pot is mine. It's not, but it's a pleasant thought.
Joel gives up his hand. Now Gaines with ace high with a raise to 19,006.
And you don't think Kenny doesn't have a little acting ability in him? He plays in Hollywood home games, and he's actually working on a movie script.
Kenny, thinking his birthday came early, just makes the call.
Billy knows the jig is up, and Gaines is in deep trouble.
Yeah, he'll be heads up now with Tran to the turn. Turn card's another 4. Tran with the check mark. Walbeck might have saved his whole tournament. He would have hit second best full house there. Gaines checks wisely.
By the way, Kenny told me I reminded him of one of the characters in the movie he's writing.
What, a mustachioed, twice-divorced sports writing hack?
Good for you.
Kenny bets $18,000.
Well, Kenny trying to get a call from Gaines here.
Gaines folds.
Nice. If you don't know what to do with your hand, the best way is just to fold it, get over with.
I wish I'd been told that years ago.
Kenny Tran can read opponents as well as anyone. How about you at home? Time to put those skills to the test with the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand. The hand will be played out with one pair of hole cards concealed. Action on Joe Hasham, and he has the Jack Link's wild card hand, Norman.
Just got my crystal ball back from the shop line.
A raise to 4,100 from the former world champ.
Well, from middle position, I'm going to put Hasham on a middle pair. Pocket 8s or 9s.
Lissandro folded, and the blue jacket and sunglasses, we believe, envelop Klaus Nielsen as pocket trays.
Nielsen owns the largest poker news website in Denmark, and he's still a little chilly.
He calls from the big blind. Hasham and Nielsen heads up the flop. 8, deuce, 5 rainbow.
Not a bad flop for Nielsen.
Checks his trays.
If Joe had pocket 9s, he likes that flop. If he had pocket 8s, he loves that flop.
Hasham, after the check, reaching, and a healthy bet, 6,200.
If I'm Nielsen, I might muck here. He's only got 4,100 into the pot, and why mess around with pocket 3s after missing the flop?
And a former world champ, but Nielsen's going to mess around with a call.
Nielsen's got a different read on Joe Hasham than I do.
Turn card is another deuce.
Nielsen might have Joe on a big ace, ace-queen, or ace-jack, and called the flop because he sensed it was just a continuation bet.
Nielsen checked again. Hasham reaching again. 13-5.
Hasham again bets more than half the pot. I think he's got a pocket pair, maybe 8's full.
Nielsen just called last time, but he's got more chips here. Check raise to 32,000.
Nielsen thinks Joe's got a marginal hand at best. He might have Hasham on a couple of big cards, no pair. I trust my read because I'm not the one who's freezing right now.
Nielsen check raised Lissandro off a hand earlier.
32 total, right?
Yeah, when he check raised that hand against Lissandro, he was also bluffing.
Joe, king, queen.
Ooh, the guy in the hood is right.
It lays it down.
Joe was the one trying to bluff. And maybe this Nielsen is a future player of the year.
Joe missed the board, but still fired at it twice on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky wild card hand.
Don't remember me, Joe?
Well, look at you. How can I remember that? That's the way you looked last time I saw you. That's how you looked last time I saw you.
He wasn't wearing the hat.
Take the hoodie off and maybe I'll...
No, I'm afraid to do it.
Apparently there is some history between the two, and it's safe to say Joe will remember him from this point on. To Phil Hellmuth's table after the river, Columba Duffy pushed all in with ace high. Phil turned the nuts straight, is wondering what to do.
I mean, it's an Irish guy that raises every hand, so I know I'm going to bust him. I don't understand. You got it?
I think I have you, yeah.
You think you have me?
I think you have 2 pair.
Yeah, 2 pair, right.
Phil has said he is not going to fold this year to crazy all-in moves by amateurs. The problem is this is for almost all of Phil's chips.
Duffy took a big pot off Ivy on day 1 in last year's main event.
My instincts say I have you beat. The problem is that I still have 120 left, which is plenty to win this thing with.
And Phil knows if he calls here and loses, he'd only have about 15,000 left. Hellmuth's got to be worried Duffy might have a full house.
Agonizing for Hellmuth.
A defining moment in this main event for Phil Hellmuth.
I call.
He makes the call.
Good call.
Straight.
Good help.
Wow.
Wow.
And Hellmuth takes the pot and knocks off Duffy.
Wow. Duffy bluffs off all of his remaining chips. And Phil Hellmuth ecstatic and flush with chips now.
Wow.
Outside of the rope.
It's a statistical improbability, but Phil might be speechless.
If I'm going to win, I have to trust my instincts.
In the 20 years since he won the big one, Phil's instincts have served him very well.
Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky. Main event.
Welcome back to day 3 here at the Rio. It's exciting to see there are still 8 former main event champions still alive in this tournament, including last year's champ, 23-year-old Peter Eastgate.
In case if you want to comment, I personally believe that within probably the last many years, the best poker player who won the World Series of Poker main event sitting right there.
He gets the endorsement from his fellow Dane, Gus Hansen, and of course, Peter says nothing.
Gus was knocked out on day 2. There's last year's third-place finisher Dennis Phillips in a hand right now with Brian Swift.
Both of them with Cardinals caps. Swift a fan of Dennis's. They met at the main event and have hit it off.
Swift, part of the now famous Philippians, is all in with pocket 6s, called by Phillips with the Obama pocket 4s. 1 card to come.
Phillips can only knock out Swift with a 4.
River card now is a 9, and Brian Swift will double up through his new buddy, Dennis Phillips.
And both collecting autographs on their baseball caps. So far, Dennis Phillips the only autograph on Swift's cap.
Dennis might get another chance to bust his fellow Cardinal fan, but there were no second chances when Dennis found himself front and center at a Cardinals game.
The first pitch for the Cardinals. It's not that they try to make you nervous at all, but they take you down underneath and they hand you a ball, but you have no place to throw or warm up. They make you stand there for 15 or 20 minutes talking to people. My family's there. I got 50,000 people in the stands. It's like, wow. And then they stop and they say, okay, you go by yourself out there to the mound. You walk out there and everybody in the crowd is standing and looking. You got your picture up here on the big screen. They say, hey, no big deal, just throw it.
See what happens, right?
I made a $7 million raise that didn't bother me, and I'm standing out there going, holy cow. You know, if I throw it, I'm throwing it. We'll see what the heck happens.
Oh!
I threw it, all right. I got a good reaction from the crowd, but it was more laughter than anything, so what the heck.
You know, I've seen Dennis Phillips throw his chips in farther than he threw that pitch. Proof again that poker is not a sport and poker players are not athletes.
One player who has shown some athletic ability, though, is Jean-Robert Ballon during his stint on the TV reality series Survivor. Jean-Robert trying to pad his chip stack in the field right now. He flopped a set of 8s. Dean Pedersen only a pair of 8s. Pedersen was drawing dead after the turn. On the river, Ballon with a check mark bets out $35,000.
Pedersen had called a smaller bet on the turn. Does he believe Ballon?
No, he doesn't. He makes the call, and Ballon's set will beat the pair of 8.
Boy, Jean-Robert Ballon was 1 card from going home not too long ago, and he has now got a bunch of chips.
A nice turnaround for the big man.
Go from the outhouse to the penthouse.
Real good, thank you.
Elsewhere, Umberto Brenes began today short-stacked and looks about to hand his last chips to Prahlad Friedman. Brenes with pocket queens, Friedman pocket aces.
The Shark is about to be bidden for the last time.
Trying to negotiate with the dealer.
You can do it. Queen.
No queen.
Turn card 10 of hearts.
Last card. You can do it.
No queen.
Queen.
It's a deuce. Friedman wins. Umberto eliminated.
Dinner theater is done.
I love watching you play. Yeah. Love watching.
Next year.
Next year.
Yeah, maybe next year they'll start a Broadway musical together.
So the 2-time bracelet winner, Umberto Brenes, knocked out. Back to our featured table. A couple of heavyweights over here. Joe Hashem, Jeff Lissandro. Hashem will not play this hand. Action on Lissandro. King, queen offsuit.
Jeff only wears the hat at the table, calls it his work hat. When he leaves the table, he takes it off.
Raised to $4,500 on Tad Moselle. Owns a construction business in Round Lake, Illinois. Pocket aces.
His business is an underground sewer and water main company. Coincidentally, that is my other line of work.
And with aces, he's going to re-raise it now to $11,500. Lissandro will call with his king-queen.
Half of Moselle's remaining stack now in the pot.
Now the flop. It is 10. King, queen, Lissandro with kings up with his pocket aces. Moselle now has a straight draw.
I gotta believe Moselle is gonna ship it right here. Just say Heidi ho.
All in. Cool.
Yeah, he's all in, but it's too late. Jeff's already caught up. And a call from Lissandro. So Moselle in trouble with his aces.
Yeah, Moselle sees he was out flopped, and now a 3-2 dog to stick around.
This is far from over. This is it. You got your chips.
Turn card now is a 7. Lissandro almost a 3-1 favorite.
Moselle needs a 7, 10, jack, or ace, or he is wamboozled.
It is a 7. And ace is up for Moselle. Will take down the pot. Kings up, no good for Jeffrey.
Jeff Lissandro has not taken too many tough beats at this World Series. He'll just sit down and carry on.
Lissandro running so good, outflopped his opponent, but Moselle caught up on the river.
The dreaded river.
Oh, I love the river.
I think I got that horseshoe today.
Lissandro might tell him where to put that horseshoe.
Moselle catches a lucky break while Lissandro's golden touch has deserted him for the moment. Back inside the Rio, this tournament ticker sponsored by FullTiltPoker.net. Over 1,500 players still remain, including 59 bracelet winners still in the field. And of those, 21 are multiple bracelet winners. There is Phil Ivey being seated at a new table. He's a multiple bracelet winner just this year.
I guess it is getting cold in here, but hey, that sight warms my heart.
Phil Ivey. You know, I've had a serious crush on you for years. I'm Melissa. How you doing?
Hi, Melissa. I'm Norman.
Actually, my daughter has a biggest crush on you.
Phil Ivey gets a little different treatment at the table than Phil Hellmuth.
To another big stack, Dan Bilzerian, fourth best at the start of the day, now in sixth place. He's weighing the merits of calling Jamie Brown's river bet of $115,000.
Any of you guys have a quarter I can flip?
That's chapter 3 of my poker strategy book. He asked for a quarter. He should not flip a $50. It doesn't give you a true read.
I mean, might not even flip it now.
You know, that coin is two-headed.
Bilzerian maybe thinks the board's a little scary, and he does lay it down.
Brown can finally look up. The hand is over.
The table says, show the bluff, Jamie, show it.
Oh, he had at least top pair.
And Bilzerian will give away some of his big stack. Dan's brother Adam also still alive in this tournament, doing pretty well with about 250,000 chips.
Adam taught Dan how to play in college. Adam is 26, Dan is 28.
Each of them claim to be the better poker player. The main event may finally decide that family feud at last. Back to the featured table, and action will start on George Hardy. He was the point man in establishing poker rooms in California and the founder of the Bicycle Club in Los Angeles with ace-jack offsuit.
Poker writer Mike Paul was telling me that outside of Jack Binion, no one has done more than George Hardy to get poker in its present position.
Hardy with a raise to 3,600. Joe Hashem, king-queen offsuit.
Hashem has done plenty for poker in Australia. There's definitely been a Hashem effect down under since 2005.
He makes the call. Lissandro also with king-queen.
Lissandro finished 17th in the 06 main event, the only time he's cashed in the big one.
From the big blind, he made the call. So 3 players will see the flop. The flop is Jack, Ace, King, Hardy with aces up. Lissandro and Hashem with the pair of kings. Lissandro checks.
When Hellmuth won it all in '89, Hardy made the final table, finishing 9th.
With 2 pair, he bets 5,000. Hashem lays down his king-queen.
So 1 king-queen is down and out.
Lissandro's going to call with his middle pair.
Well, Hashem didn't like it. Lissandro does.
Turn card is a deuce of diamonds. Lissandro picks up a flush draw. Hardy's still best, though.
Well, Hardy was peeking over at Lissandro, but I don't know what you can pick up from that poker face.
With 4 diamonds to a flush, Lissandro bets 15,005.
Jeff might think he has the best draw and the best hand.
Hardy just calls.
He might be wary of the diamonds or the possibility Jeff slow played a flop straight.
River card now. A 9 of clubs, so Hardy gets the check mark with his aces up. Lissandro first to act. And he puts out a big bet, 35,000.
Jeff probably putting Hardy on an ace and is trying to bet him off it. But if I'm Hardy with aces up, I don't see how I'm folding here. Lissandro's bet 2/3 of the pot again.
Hardy with the best hand. And he lays it down.
Hardy with the misread, Lissandro with the good play.
Lissandro and Joe started with the same hand. Lissandro found reason to stick around. His aggression scored him some chips in the end. Back to table 2, where the only player who can catch Lissandro for Player of the Year, Billy Walbeck, is all in and trailing his pocket queens against the kings of Joe Lute.
Walbeck made 4 final tables at this World Series and won a bracelet.
Walbeck looks at the flop of 9 deuce ace. Lute's still best.
Clubs?
You can hope.
King the club.
Tran, just an agitator.
Turn card now. Jack of hearts, no help to Billy.
Close.
No queen for Walbeck. He needs a queen or he is done.
River card is another ace, and Walbeck is done.
Do that. Good luck, Ken.
Joe Lute does the deed, knocking off Walbeck, who had an amazing World Series, over $1 million in earnings. But with his elimination, he is the Player of the Year runner-up.
And though he doesn't know it just yet, with 3 bracelets won at this World Series, Jeff Lissandro is the 2009 Player of the Year.
The World Series of Poker, presented by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, Player of the Year.
The 2009 World Series of Poker saw a heated battle for the Player of the Year award as 4 players won multiple bracelets. But the season ultimately belonged to Jeff Lissandro. He dominated the stud events on his way to an amazing 3 tournament titles.
Jeff, well, you got it, buddy.
Jeff Lissandro made 2009 a season to remember. Both of us here congratulate Jeff, and World Series Commissioner Jeffrey Pollack is here to do the same.
Players, I'm sorry to interrupt for a but I want to share some good news with everyone, but with one of you in particular, Mr. Lissandro, Jeffrey Lissandro. This has certainly been your World Series of Poker, 3 bracelet wins, and it's my pleasure to inform you that you are the 2009 WSOP Player of the Year. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. You should be very proud. Awesome. Thank you very much.
Lissandro this year won bracelets and stud 8, and Raz. That's a stud triple crown.
Congratulations.
His first bracelet won in 2007 also was stud.
I'll never get used to that.
No.
It's hard to get used to.
Jeff looks like a pretty tough customer at the table, but it's nice to see him smile. Congratulations once again. All right, let's go back to the table of Jean-Robert Belland. He shoved on a flop of 10-8-5, holding ace-king, called by Stan Sinclair with pocket kings. The turn was no help to Belland. And the river card is not either, and Belland, like that, is gone.
Belland cashed in last year's main event. He will not make the money in 2009.
Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, man. Hey, if I see you later, I'll get your autograph. I got a thing go over. Do it look.
I might need to get your autograph. You think that?
Jean-Robert was the 8th person eliminated in Survivor China, and he's something like the 4,783rd person eliminated from this main event.
Over to double bracelet winner J.C. Tran. He just bet $22,000 after the turn. Patrick Honato called. Now the action is on that man, Alex Jalali.
The dermatologist?
Yeah, the dermatologist from Germany. And he raises to $60,000.
This might be the deepest any dermatologist ever made it in the main event.
JC now needs 38 to call. 38,000 is into the pot.
2 players now.
Honato folds, heads up to the river. River card is a 5 of clubs.
J.C. Tran won a bracelet last year and won one this year.
JC pushes in a stack that would be enough to put Jalali all in.
Tran putting Jalali to a decision for all his chips.
About 70,000. He calls.
Let's see, please.
Tran not happy to show a pair of queens. Jalali with a diamond flush doubles up.
Good call. J.C. Tran learns the pitfalls of playing ace-queen.
And he shipped a bunch of chips over to the German dermatologist. Back to Elke Grospellier, who flopped a set of 4s and had his opponent, Ricky Forenbach, drawing dead on the turn. All Elke's chips got into the middle, and he doubled up to $468,000.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Forenbach tried to put a move on Grospellier with squad douche, and Elke squad douched him. A massive pot for Grospellier.
Yeah, Elke had the goods, and he's got a lot more of the goods. One of the top players, number 3 on the leaderboard.
Elke's done well in Europe and on the World Poker Tour, now announcing himself at the main event.
Back now to our featured table, where Joe Hashem, the 05 world champ, sits. He started the day with about 140,000, but his chip stack has had a bit of a leak in it of late on the Jack Link's Beef Jerky Pocket Cam Ace-10 offsuit.
When Joe won the main event, he ate 2 eggs sunny side up on toast every morning. I do the same thing, and I get divorced.
A raise to 4,100. Lissandro looks at a 6.
Well, whatever Lissandro's been eating this year, it's worked.
Lissandro will not play this hand to Tad Moselle, who rivered Lissandro to stay alive a little earlier. Pocket 5s in the small blind.
Moselle's got 11 brothers and sisters. That's a sit-and-go with alternates.
He makes the call for 3,300, heads up with Hashem. 6-9-5. Moselle hits a set of 5s. That flop missed Hashem. Moselle first to act, and he slow plays it. Hashem now will bet.
I call.
And Moselle calls all in.
I think it's call. Yeah, call. I think he got me all in.
Hashem's going to double up Moselle.
They should have them all in there. What do you got?
Yeah. A lot more than you, Joe.
Some money you did. How about 7-8?
Show them how you become a champion.
Yeah. Putting someone all in, almost drawing dead. That's how you become a champion.
Joe's got to go back to 2 eggs, sunny side up.
Turn card is a king. Hashem drawing dead. Moselle doubles up again. He got Lissandro first, now Hashem.
Wow, what a nice level it has been.
Not many Aussie chance lately.
Lovely level.
Time for Joe to regroup. Welcome back to the rail. Some excitement out in the field as two titans of the poker world are now sitting at the same table, joining Elke Grossbellier's table, none other than Phil Ivey. Two of the top players right there.
Poker superpowers clash. This is like a Genghis Khan, Attila the Hun matchup.
Ivey raised to 4,500. Action on Elke. Elke re-raises to 12,005.
Elke's 28 years old. Phil Ivey, 32.
Ivey makes the call, so heads up between these two big stacks, two big names.
In 2008, Elke won a WPT title and a European Poker Tour title.
You could sell seats to this one. Here's the flop, tray 5-4, a couple of diamonds. Check, check.
A couple of heavyweight boxers just treading lightly in the early rounds.
King of spades on the turn. Ivey checks. Elke checks behind.
No one wants to throw a punch yet.
9 on the river. Ivey reaching. 3 orange chips. That's 15,000.
That's a jab.
Elke lays it down.
And my man Phil Ivey takes down another pot without saying a word.
With the field shrinking and so many big names left, we're bound to see matchups like this in the days to come. All right, let's go over to 2000 and 2002 bracelet winner Jennifer Harmon. After the flop, her opponent bet 8,000, and now Jen moves all in.
Good luck, Jennifer. Good luck, Jen.
Year in and year out, Jennifer struggles at the main event.
A board of ace, 8, 10, 2 diamonds. Her opponent shows aces up. Jen, a pair of 10s with a flush draw.
Yeah, Jen low on chips and low on hope now. She's behind.
Turn card. That pairs Jen, but she needs more help.
Jen's going to need a queen, 10, or diamond.
River card is a 5 of clubs. Jennifer Harmon knocked out of the 2009 main event.
Harmon, one of the more successful World Series players, but has never cashed in the main event.
And that is a testament to how difficult this tournament is. Back to the featured table where the 2009 Player of the Year sits, recently crowned Jeff Lissandro with Billy Walbeck eliminated. Lissandro taking the title. He looks down at ace-jack offsuit and raises to 5,400. On Saul Berggren from Saskatchewan, Saskatoon, Canada. King Jack offsuit.
Berggren graduated from the University of Saskatchewan. I believe they are the Raging Cajuns.
He makes the call for 5,400. 7-5 for Hashem in the small blind. He will not get involved. So heads up, Berggren and Lissandro. The flop is 9-8 queen. Both players with straight draws. Berggren's is best. Lissandro checks. Berggren makes it 8,000 to play.
I like that bet. The 29-year-old says, I'll just pick up the pot right here.
Lissandro says, not so fast. I'm the player of the year.
He is one tough customer. How does Lissandro know he's ahead?
Turn card now. 5 of hearts. No help to Berggren. Lissandro checks again.
Jeff likes going vertical with his checking motion.
Check.
And a horizontal check from Berggren.
More traditional.
All right, river card now is a 10, and with that, Berggren hits his straight to the king. He gets the check mark. Lissandro hit an inferior straight there and checks.
Well, Berggren told us he loves the outdoors, but we are indoors now.
Bet 18,000.
18,000 from Berggren.
Berggren with the nuts, bets a little more than half the pot. Lissandro's got to be thinking check raise here. He can only be beat if Berggren's holding a king-jack.
But Jeff just calls. And Berggren shows the king high straight.
And by just calling there, Lissandro may have saved himself a lot of chips. And Berggren's thinking, I beat the player of the year, I beat the player of the year, I beat the player of the year.
What are you going to do?
One day there'll be some justice.
Lissandro can't really complain. He's the 2009 Player of the Year, still very much alive in his quest for a 4th bracelet of this World Series, the main event bracelet, and the title World Champion. Day 3 began with the field finally united and the Amazon room filled to capacity.
Yeah! Touchdown, Georgia! poker, baby.
But after several hours of play, there's a lot more elbow room.
I'm out.
As always, the main event does not discriminate, as new faces and top pros alike were sent packing. But it's not all doom and gloom, as several upstarts continue to surprise.
Came to play.
And big names like Ivy, Elke, Eastgate, and Helmuth continue to shine.
Maybe Australian wins. Hey, I gotta be honest.
For Norman Chad, I'm Lon McCarran. More Day 3 action coming your way from the main event of the World Series of Poker.